Hey everybody, welcome back to The Indecisive Collector. My name is Nancy and I am going to be showing you all how I made this mermaid crown for my costume this year. I'm going to be a dark mermaid or mermaid witch. I'm not sure yet, still just like a mermaid wearing black and blue basically. So I wanted to show you all how I made that crown. First of all, I took all of the things I'm going to be using in this video outside and spray painted it like I just showed you. And I let them dry for about 2 days. They didn't need that much time, I just didn't have time to film. So I took 2 different headbands. I picked these up at the dollar store because it was cheap and I've made mermaid crowns before from there with those, and I picked up these shells from Walmart. It was an entire bag with all these different kinds of sizes of shells, and it was about $4 and something cents, and it comes in this big bag. I found it in the arts and crafts section. I thought it was a really good deal, and I've had these for quite a while. So what I'm going to use ultimately for this entire DIY is Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks, the seashells that I painted, and the headband. I did do 2 headbands in case I messed one up, and I was going to be using my little glue gun that has that whole safety thing that if you touch it, it won't burn you. So I'm going to be using all of that today, and I'll put a link in the description for all the things that I can find online for you all so that you can find it. And there's Anra asleep. I tried so hard to put her somewhere else and she kept running back over here and passing out, so as long as she's not moving around and I'm keeping that very far away from her, trust me, I am so scared of my little baby getting hurt. I do everything in my power to protect her from everything. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to measure out my shells against my headband to see what kind of decorations I want for it, to see how I want it to look, and I would recommend you not start gluing till after you've mapped out where you want your shells to be, because if you start gluing immediately, you could possibly ruin this, especially if you're using the Gorilla Glue sticks like I am. I picked these up because the other mermaid crowns that I used to make with E6000 glue, but it would take way too long for it to dry, even though it was so sturdy. So if you have the time to do this, I do recommend using the E6000 glue, because I could drop my crowns that I used to make with the E6000 glue, like very intricate, very beautiful. I used to be able to drop them because I'm a very clumsy person, and they would be just fine. Like maybe a shell would crack at the top, but they would not fall off the headband. So I decided to get the Gorilla Glue sticks to see how they measured up, and these are very strong, let me at least tell you that. I decided that I do want the long black shells to be sticking out of the crown, and that I would want the little gold shells along the edges to cover up the headband looking part. And I wanted to incorporate the blue somewhere, but I didn't really like how it was looking so I put it on the back part just so it doesn't look really bare, and it would look weird. It would look like if you just took a cake and only decorated the front part, basically. So once I figured out how I wanted the shells, the longer ones, I don't know what they're called, I'm so sorry. Once I figured out that I wanted them to go from bigger to smaller onto the sides, I didn't want to put them too far down the sides of the headband, because then it would be kind of messing with my ears and maybe moving them around, so I didn't want that to happen. As you can see, this headband does have little square holes in it, and I wanted to get specifically that one because it would be easier for me to set the shells inside the hole with the glue, and it would the flatter part of the shell would be sitting on the headband, while the pointier part, which is not really pointy at all, would be sitting inside the little hole. So when you glued it on there, they wouldn't be sticking out too much, and they would have like a stable area where to sit. And that's how I basically have been making my seashell crowns. This is the first time I've been using spray paint to spray paint the headband, because the headband was originally a white plastic headband. It did come in a set of 3. I spray painted it blue and black so it could match the theme that I'm going for. So what I think you should possibly do is map it out like I said, because this glue is so strong you may be able to take it off of the headband, but you might rip up the paint that you used on your headband if you did use paint to make it a different color, because the headband colors come in clear, some kind of brown and black, and black. I could have just used a regular black one, but I wanted it to have that satiny finish that the shells were going to have, so it would match. I know these shells aren't perfectly spray painted completely all the way through. I kind of did that on purpose because I wanted to look a little worn, because I want it to be kind of like an evil sea princess, sea witch, mermaid person coming out of the sea, and of course, you know, you're under the water and things are happening. You know, being evil and such gets really taxing on your beautiful mermaid jewelry. I am planning on making some mermaid jewelry to go with this, because I made a ton of these colored seashells, and I was trying to figure out what to do with them, because after finishing this, I realized I made way too many. But I am really happy that I made as many as I did, because it's really nice to have a backup plan if you mess it up. When you are spray painting, if you did decide to spray paint your shells, I do recommend doing it outside in a well-ventilated area, which is what I did. And I also spray painted some of those craft beads that you find at the Dollar Tree that basically look like the Mardi Gras beads. I took those and I spray painted them as well in the gold, black, and blue. Those were the three colors that I chose for my entire outfit basically. And as you can see here, it does take a little bit to dry, so we'll just move on to me finishing up that area. Once you are done, if this is the shape you want, which by the way, if you don't want to paint your shells, it looks just as pretty when it's not painted and when you have like a clear backing, because I've made some really pretty crowns of natural colored seashells and it looks so gorgeous. So what you want to do at this point is you want to see what kind of decorations you want to put on there. If you want to put your different kinds of pearls on it, if you have different sizes of seashells, like let's say you get a variety bag from like Michael's or something and you want to use that instead, then that's super awesome. I love creativeness. If you end up doing something totally different than what I did, I would love to see a picture of it, so you could go to my Twitter and you could go ahead and tweet me a picture, or you can go to my Facebook and post it on the wall. I do look at all of my Instagrams, Twitter, Facebook stuff. So what I did here was I ended up adding another shell right there in the middle, because I like things to be symmetrical, and it made me feel weird not seeing something there in the middle. It felt like it needed something there. So I decided that I wanted the gold shells to be very prominent and in the front of basically the crown as the main focal point. So I ended up just putting them along the front part of it, and I tried to make them as even as possible. I did want the larger of the shells right in the middle, and I know some of these are cracked, but those are the ones I did purposely choose because I wanted these to look like they've been worn and used, and that somebody's been using them for a while. So that's why I ended up going with the cracked shells. And on the back is when I put the blue shells, so that just so it doesn't look uneven, or so it doesn't look like it's not finished. But you don't have to do this. You don't have to put any other shells on it if you want. It's really up to you, because if, let's say, you didn't put any shells and you made the hairband match your hair or wig or whatever you're going to do for that costume, it might look like it's just different spikes coming out of your hair, which would look really neat too. And I've even made one of these where I just used one of the spiral seashell things, put it right in the middle, and made some wire ears to make like a unicorn type headband, and it looked super cute. I liked it a lot. If you want to see a tutorial on how to do that, please let me know in the comments below so that I could record that for you all and see what you all think of that. But what I wanted to do with this was something that I had done previously with an old crown that I made that I really loved, where I basically took the beads that you see here and I wrapped them around the headband so it lays over my forehead with a shell in the middle. But I decided that I didn't want the gold to be there because the gold already matches the seashells, and the seashell I want to put in the middle of my face, so I decided to use the gold beads for something else. I felt like the inside in between the two, the blue and the gold shell, was looking really empty and a little strange, so I did want to fill it up with something so it didn't look like just a really big bare thing. And I really liked how it came out, putting the beads in there. It kind of gave it a little extra something, so if you take it off and people want to see it up close so that it doesn't seem unfinished or anything. I did end up having to put a little bit of glue on the inside of one of them because it kept falling out, but the other ones sat very well on the inside. This is where you see I am measuring how I'm going to put this, and that's when I decided I'm just going to use a black pearl string because I thought it was too matching with the shell and it looked like it was a part of it. So this is basically what it ended up looking like. It looks totally different from the other camera because I was using my webcam to record. This did need both of my hands. This is what it looks like basically off my head, and this is what it looks like on my head. So you can see that the string that goes around my head basically looks like a little charm or something. You have to measure your own head to make sure it's going to fit, but that's how long I needed the pearls to be hung underneath the headband for it to fit around my forehead, basically. I know I have a giant head. But this didn't cost very much, about $5 for the bag of shells, $1 for the pack of headbands, and $1 for the pack of beads. If you want to color it, I paid about $3 something per spray paint bottle, but that's completely optional because this looks really beautiful with natural colors. If you do use the natural colors, I definitely recommend that you use the clear headband if you're not going to color it because you don't really see it, or to use the black plastic one. So this is my little, not really too much of a tutorial, more like check out how I made this Halloween costume. But if it helps you at all, I'm really glad, and I hope you like it. I'm going to call it a tutorial because I basically explained most of it anyways. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. Bye!